Good day, 24-hour club. The timekeepers are in the house, and it is definitely time to get moving and get going. Please forgive me for the tardiness. I failed to put the alarm corresponding to the time of the event, so I somehow made this for 10, and then my mistake for the tardiness here. If we're able to, I think it would be nice to have some talk about the metaverse clock today. Um, we did have some developments over the week, meeting some new friends, new faces, new fam, and that's been nice. Mostly because we do need to see some development on this. We have some goals together cumulatively to try and actually expand upon the minimally viable proof of concept. The product is interesting and cool. The idea of making a clock, you could check it out at ensclock.com, and that's kind of the direction that we're going, is to develop a clock. But now we've decided to take it into the metaverse, and that's kind of the more exciting part. That makes more sense. And when you think about who's going to be looking at a clock, why, we've been brainstorming on this for way too long. Over 3 months now, we've been just talking about it, and trying to find devs, and trying to, building up different static mock-ups of what we're trying to do. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So at this point, it's like definitely time to move it forward. And so at this exact same time, the metaverse starts exploding. People are asking, which metaverse are you in? Do you want to come to this metaverse event? And so it's like, it seems appropriate now. It seems like the time is more correct, to actually get some traction with a 3D clock tower, with like a 3D metaverse clock. So the other day I registered Meta clock emoji. It's my dream to build the Meta clock. So I wanted to sort of separate that from the 24-hour club, since I've been hosting spaces for the 24-hour club. Awesome times, good times. And I love the community. I love how it's going with everything. Everyone that I know there is good. Good people, good friends. But we do, like, probably for the metaverse clock part of it, we're taking on even more than, right. It's like more than what we had previously signed up for. We would have to have 3D design, do some 3D modeling, 3D animation, and so it's like, when you're having trouble just achieving, like, a base hit, like you're upping the goal to a home run, like, what is the deal here? And I think it's just really, for me, um trying to expand the possibility that we'll engage the right people, because I think that's kind of where it's at. It's like, the challenge is we need to really bring in the right people. And there's a lot of discouragement just in general in the space. It's kind of like, all right, it's been, the market crashed, fell out right from under us, and the digits are very popular, and the minutes are, kind of taking a back seat to a lot of the other things. So it's a little bit disappointing. So my thinking is to reinvigorate those creative people who we're just meeting, and who are interested in building on the metaverse clock, together, to try and put the pieces together, take the vision. We've got so many different opportunities that if we can just put it together into one unified initiative, like, we do have some cool, there's some cool possibility with it. So the first thing is, a friend of mine, Griff. He's an amazing guy, well known in the alt space, VR community, and in just like AR community in general. Griff is working. He's flying out to LA from Colorado to close a deal on some, like, whale property management, whale asset management kind of stuff. So hopefully, if that goes to plan, there's a fair amount of Decentraland, like really interesting Decentraland land, like right by the D in Decentraland, and likewise, like, central origin space, coveted traffic, inside of Decentraland and voxels and sandbox everywhere. So that's kind of a part of this too, is that we have not only friends who are, pretty competent with their 3D development and stuff, their 3D modeling, but also the locations, the metaverse land. So I was thinking if we can develop that forward to have the 3D model and the use case, like the context and the placement dialed in from the get go, then all of the functional parts of the mechanics of the clock and everything can kind of. I think that they'll be more likely to come, and you know what I mean. Like if somebody builds the vision for the clock and builds the artistic aspect of it, I think plugging in the functional portion of it will be a little bit easier, and that's kind of proven to be true already. So a couple of people have reached out to me who are video game designers who we've been talking to about the 3D modeling, and they're like, I can build this part, I can animate this part, I can do that. So I'm hoping that that will be the case, that we'll just kind of bring on a broader, larger contingent of people with, more time and more skills, more willingness to participate. But for me, that kind of meant like just doing a slight elbow, like a slight differentiation, slight turn, because we've been doing one thing, their eyes on the prize in one direction for a while. And I just wanted to have a little bit of a transition, because I've been kind of on a mission here for like 3 months. I said, I'm going to host spaces here. And if we don't have certain results, then I'm going to kind of like hand over the holding the mic here on the 24-hour club. So I've been hosting these spaces from the 24-hour club. And I really want to do this in a way that like works for me and my family and my life. And I want to do it in a way that works for you guys, with all the, people who are interested in showing up for these kind of events. It's like, to me, it's important that the people who are most dedicated are, getting the opportunities and getting the like, the go ahead to use their ideas, like to put their ideas forward. So to me, that's kind of the big thing here, is that I wanted to, if I'm going to be doing the meta clock thing, I got the meta clock domain. I didn't like ENS clock.eth. It's too long for our purposes. I don't like, a lot of things like names wise that were just too long. Meta clock emoji seems like it's kind of appropriately what I'm trying to do, metaverse clock. And so that's my intention here, is to kind of shift a little bit to where we may not, for the metaverse clock itself that I'm building, we may or may not incorporate, the 24-hour club into it. So that's kind of why I decided to host it from my personal page, because I thought I want the freedom to build a metaverse clock, the vision that I have for a metaverse clock, and I don't need the baggage of the club. I don't need what has the club done? How are we going to integrate what the club has done? Instead, I want to go off kind of on my own, as long as nobody's really right. Nobody's at a loss, or, nobody gains. It's just sort of an experiment, right? So from my perspective, I think the best thing that I can do is to explore the metaverse end of all of this, to get into that and try to include like as many of you as I can in that part of it, so that when there's a synthesis between the ENS clock code base that we're trying to develop into this widget and the three-dimensional clock that, be a cool thing to look at, like just a 3D clock tower in the metaverse. Like once that physical object and the developer, side of it meets up, I think, we'll be there. So I'm just thinking I'm going to start working on the other end of it. I have a few friends now who definitely, I think, are more in alignment with that kind of a vision, because it's difficult to persuade someone, convince somebody who's new that the club is, I guess, like first you have to educate them about that. So what I was thinking is, we go to the metaverse communities, we go to the metaverse parties, secure the land, share the vision, and produce the 3D object and the proof of concept, and then all the while kind of dredging for the skill and the talent that I'm looking for. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with y'all guys, is that I'm just going to keep doing this on Wednesdays, and I'm going to host from this page, from my page. I'm going to invite 24-hour club to join as usual. I'm going to kick it back a little bit later, since, it's kind of an unincentivized thing, it's like a fun thing. It's a thing that should be enjoyable for everyone. And so for me personally, I just kind of have some health issues in the morning. They just require me to like actually not make too many commitments really early. So it's a problem for me, especially when there's no compensation involved. It's like I'm literally kind of like neglecting my health and my medical needs on certain days of the week when I commit to doing things really early for nothing. I mean, for no compensation, for no nothing. If anything, it's just kind of like, yeah, to my detriment in a way. So I just wanted to, pass the torch, the proverbial torch to an extent, to say, yeah, I can't handle the responsibility of it all right now. It's too many things going on. But what I can do is kind of take my energy and apply it in the direction that I'm going anyway, and try and use that towards the benefit of the club. So I just want to make that invitation to everyone to come on and take a more proactive role in this. Step up, step forward. Nobody will do it for you. Nobody's gonna be the hero and save the day. We are the heroes. We will save the day. That's the mentality here. It's very much a distributed community, and I just think that it's good to rotate out, the leadership in that sense periodically, so that if there's something that can be done to optimize it that I'm missing, um, that we have that chance. So, and in the meantime, we can just have our Q&A, from my page as often as we probably share these. I have it syndicating. All of my spaces from this page are now syndicating to YouTube via Audio Labs. So that's another reason why I want to host from here. If I host a space from 24 Hour Club or anywhere else, for anyone else, I have no ability to preserve it. So I'm like out here spending a bunch of time, way too much time, 20, 30 hours a week, 40 hours a week, hosting spaces, doing events, but the content doesn't get saved. You know what I mean? It just it disappears. So with this setup now, I have the ability to, host spaces, keep the content. And to me, that's much more important for the club, for everyone. So that's kind of the solution that I've come across. It's the easiest workflow. Everything else you have to get on a wait list, and I've already got that with Audio Labs. I'm already in there in like Flint. So I'm gonna use that. And that's what I'm doing today and in the future. So everything I do, I've got multiple spaces today. They'll all be recorded. They'll all get indexed onto YouTube. And I want the 24-hour club spaces to be, within that category too. That they that they would be indexed. That what we're saying and doing here would actually have enough value and merit to be preserved, to be, so that it will be useful. So looking back, we'll have a record of things. We'll have the ability for people to catch up if they missed, and they want to go back and see what we're talking about a month ago, or a certain episode where we were interviewing the 3D modeler for the first time, or talking with the developer. It just needs to be preserved. I mean, it just needs to be there in a way that isn't rubbed by Twitter within 30 days, because that's how it is with the spaces. It may have changed recently, but my understanding is like 30 days and your Twitter spaces just poof, it's gone. So I would like to not only save these, but even tokenize them and things like that for certain communities. Maybe not this community, but just in general, like for B card talks and some of the other things I'm doing, it makes sense to, mint the conversation and find some way to tokenize it, like a one of one, and send it to the person, just so it's on chain too. So YouTube can't rug it. You got to understand, that's the thinking. It's not about everything needs to go on chain so that you can sell it and everything. It's like, we're trying to transition into a truly distributed, decentralized vision, a more prosperous and liberated vision of how we communicate with each other and how we socialize and how we exist, as a society. So that's just much more important to me than any of the like money that you could make by flipping some some domains or something, or like that's not how I've been playing this game. It's about the vision and the cultural aspect of it, and the hope for a a better, than what we had with Web 2 with the social media. I mean, I thought it was really a disappointment how the whole world has kind of fallen off into this like polarizing kind of thing, and social media has just become like a barren landscape. So fortunately, we're kind of rebooting that with the Web3 um, exodus from Twitter Spaces into Metaverse. And so this is supposed to be, for me, like I view this as being like a place where we can sort of curate um, the friendships and the experiences that we want to have on social media differently. Whereas we were kind of subject to whatever people were talking about or doing. And in the 1.0 version, now we're kind of, I guess, we're in the driver's seat, and we get to choose which things we engage with and what. So I'm going to metaverse events where I'm going to jazz parties and stuff like that. And as long as none of us are getting paid for anything, as long as none of us are part of a, company or a business that's saying like, we need this from you and do that. And, then I say we just have a darn good time doing whatever it is that we're doing. Why should we not enjoy ourselves? And it's just silly. We're out here doing kind of volunteer fun, um, ideation and imagination kind of stuff. um, it should be fun. It should totally be fun. So in order to keep it fun, instead of just holding spaces and talking about, I want a clock, I want to do a clock like this, I imagine a clock like that, I feel to myself, I'm getting sick of myself. I'm getting sick of my own voice talking about the thing that I want to see, um, because it's not being seen. I'm not seeing it. And then so I just think that I probably, what I want to see is a three-dimensional model of a clock tower, and I want to see it in Decentraland and in on cyberspace that's custom specifically designed for that, the clock tower space, where it's animated. And once that's up and we got the clock aesthetically right and it's huge, and then we can look at what can we do to edit it and put this ensclock.com code base into it, or animate the hands on the clock so that it spins around as a true UTC clock tower. And we have Mazing with us. Mazing is actually capable of doing that, on the build side. But, you got to imagine, look, what the 24-hour club, what we would actually need with the subdomains and all the things that we've been talking about. Like, it's a huge, huge, heavy lift. And it's actually a lot, it's a lot. It's a lot of dev time. It's a lot of money. Somebody's got to do all that work and not eat any food while they're doing it. Who's going to do that? You know what I mean? Somebody who's very talented and very well independently wealthy already. So I just don't think that's a winning game, holding a space every week and hoping that a very wealthy and very talented developer just decides to give up their ability to use that gift to make lots of money to just make a silly thing for us. I mean, hopefully that does happen. Wouldn't that be amazing? But if there's not a financial upside to it, if there's not an incentive, I just can't imagine it. After months of doing this, I really cannot. I've seen so many people enter the Twitter spaces that I've been hosting, Alias and Signum and big players, and kind of say, I'm interested, there's something cool here, but they're waiting for us to do something, and I can't do it, guys. I'm not a software developer. I am not a coder. So I'm just looking for my devs, just looking for our devs to be the builders on the clock. Amazing. It's really cool that you have the ability to, enlist 3D modeling, AR, the stuff that we're doing with AR assets and everything is a part of this. It's the end, it's the end of the rainbow. So I think that that's, for me, the best that I can do. I find myself in the role of kind of the early adopter, saying, this is interesting. Look at this tech. Why don't we do this? So I think where I'm best used is at the end of that rainbow, where the tech is saying, come over here, look at this tech. This is what we can do with it. At the end of the ideation cycle, or at the beginning of it, really, but it's kind of standing in the position of the end, inviting people there, as opposed to like, this role that I'm doing with the spaces. It's a community kind of function, but I think it might even be more important to bring in more technical people into this chair at this moment for this club. Because if you guys want to build my vision for this club, which I've articulated like over the weeks, which will be lost because it's not indexed, right? So that's sad. But that's what I'm trying to resolve here, is that at least the communication is preserved so that somebody else can say, okay, Novax and these guys, they were talking about doing this and that. And that's what we've been talking about, is like building so many dashboards that it's psycho. Build a dashboard for random advertisers to come hook up a Web3 wallet and then update the avatars on, a whole hour, and just to do that in an automated way, and to reserve those minutes and to get paid for them, and to pay us for them, and to distribute the payments. Like, that's a big back end. That's a big old back end, and a fairly complex front end too. So we haven't even thought about any of those things and how we would build those things, really. We've only simply just been touching on, what we do with a widget with the clock. Like, what would it look like, and what would we want it to do. So I think just updating our avatars, like somebody, Sajil, would be awesome to have you just holding the mic over here on 24 Hour Club, frequently, telling people the vision and the plan. And that is simply this: we're trying to build a clock for the metaverse that helps people understand UTC time. UTC time is the way. We're all from all over the world. We're trying Web3. We're scheduling meetings and times, appointments with each other, and we need to be able to tell time in UTC. Everyone in the future, that's how it's going to be, inevitably. Um, and so to help ease that transition, making a UTC clock tower and putting it right in the middle of the metaverse, and putting it right in the middle of anything that people in Web3 are doing all the time, is really kind of a cool expression of that. It's a physical, expression of that big sea change. And to be the people who build that clock and build that vision is a really special and cool thing. I mean, in my opinion, I think it's really neat, and it potentially opens a lot of doors for us. So I hope that some people could see that, that if we just have a little bit of that collaboration and partnership from the right, developer support community, I think that it can really amplify and snowball out to where the synergy starts to happen, and we start, getting some forward progress. But as of right now, I think the best way for me to help with that is to continue working with my homies in the metaverse building space to really develop those relationships. I'm being tugged in that direction anyway, and so that's my thoughts, guys. I hope it's not been too discouraging to have like such little progress in these few months, but I think we have sort of shaped a vision together. I think we've articulated a path for what we want to see done, and we know kind of some of the considerations for we know, like we talked about, pixel map and thousand ether homepage and some of the other truly distributed like NFT aggregate art projects and things. They inevitably have so much of a large percentage of them that just never get updated. Like, we're just going to have blue avatars on the 24-hour clock forever. Like, right now and forever, we'll always have them. And if we try to apply this to like a real-time marketing kind of a situation, there's absolutely zero chance that we'll have the kind of club fully engagement from all the token holders to actually administer, like, that sort of a that sort of a system, like in real time, like voting on it, and saying, okay, Coca-Cola wants 3 hours for this much, like we got to go quickly and decisively and vote. It's just not going to happen. Look at Pixel Map, look at Thousand Ether homepage, been around for 10 years almost, like better part of a decade, and there's just lost tokens that are in a, just gone, lost to us forever, and people who have tokens who just haven't updated them. That's how these projects go. So having some other vision, oh, we're just going to incentivize people to update their avatar and tell them every day, and eventually they're going to do it and they'll all be updated. That's an illusion. That will not happen. Sincerely, it will never happen. So I think what we decided, was that rather than imagine the impossible and just, think that that's going to somehow happen, when you could see the other examples, it just doesn't work that way. Um, and it has other much bigger problems, which is that somebody could put really graphic, nasty content in a distributed way, and we can't do anything about it. We cannot. If 420 wants to, or 0069 wants to put up some, you know what I'm saying? If somebody or some silly person of any holder of any minute wants to put up something that is crass and gross and offensive, like, they can. That's good. That's whatever. Free speech clock. Perfect. But if we're selling to advertisers and we're at the center in the heart of the metaverse, We need to have a layer of protection to make sure that we're not putting out stuff that's that we're not creating the potential for people, the tool for people to abuse, and to put put their hateful or even illegal kind of like messages on there, or graphics on there. So it's important to us. It's important to me that we protect. This club is actually like the perfect conversation, right, piece. It's the lightning rod between everything, because it's about how do we achieve like a decentralized vision, but do it in a sort of in a how do we in a semi-centralized way, in a hybridized centralized way. um that's the thing with the subdomains. So instead of just being 04h20.eth, we would have meta 04h20.meta clock emoji.eth, and on that subdomain clock, we would have the ability, to, with subdomains, with with the permissions of them, we would have the ability to actually update those, right? Update those avatars in from a centralized dashboard where Coca-Cola can come and say, okay, we want this hour, we're going to pay this much for the minutes, boom. And then the avatars get updated in mass, in bulk, in a gasless way. And the owners of those underlying root level minutes actually get compensated the percentage of that. And maybe there's some ability for them to veto if they say no, I'm this minute's not for sale. Um, this one you can't have, And so we just have a simple toggle for everyone. Okay, my minute, this one is not for advertisers. I do not want it being overridden by Coca-Cola or some other Toyota or nonsense. I want my minute for me. And so you will forego your income on the advertiser minutes, but you'll have your artistic expression to put what you want, unless you put something that violates the club standards, and we'll have those defined as well. Because we are not about to have a bunch of graphic, salacious pictures on our clock, not on the one that we're monetizing and showing to children in the metaverse. So we're going to put better protections around that. But we're also going to keep intact the relationship between the meta clock holders, the meta clock subdomain holders, and the 24-hour club, potentially assuming that there's forward progress on this. And if there's not forward progress on it, having a minute is just cool. You know, just being a part of the 24-hour club is just cool. So we shouldn't put so much pressure on ourselves. Oh, we've got to build a clock for the future. We've got to do this, that. We already did, in a way. So 24-hour club has sort of achieved its goal, just like 100K club or any other of the clubs. Like, we're just another club. We've got to define scarcity here. It's good. It's good stuff. So I don't think we're going to have any problems as far as like transitioning into a better, a better development cycle. But I think the necessary thing is just to have a little bit of a transitional time. So thank you very much for everyone showing up. Really appreciate you guys. We've got Triple Roller Coaster in the house. I'm trying to invite you up. Digital is in the house again, inviting you up. So that's kind of, I wanted to index some of the things. So for this 30 minutes I've been rambling, thank you guys for listening. This will kind of get into the record now so that it's not lost to us. So if you guys want to ask questions about that, I can kind of elaborate about my thinking on it, so at least it gets preserved for the next peeps. What up, quad coaster?
What's up, homie? Y'all doing good?
Yes, sir. Doing good, doing good. I mean, I'm excited about the quads. It looks like you are too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I got this in the hotels. I picked it up the other night. Yeah, I'm glad I'm off today so I can get in here and hang out in the spaces. Yeah, I actually need to get this knocked out today, man. If one of you can help me, I need to figure out how to update my avatar in general. People have sent me links. Is there a simple way to go in here and set this? Because I want to go set my avatar on my time clock now, if that's possible. Someone can
Yeah,
walk me
man,
through it.
definitely. Yeah, there's tons of stuff. Okay, so first thing is probably the very first one that I ever followed was Brantley. Brantley.eth did a written article, like a Medium post, I believe, how to update your ENS avatar or something like that. You're even updating your ENS avatar record. And it's really simple. It's like a little bit of syntax, EIP colon slash slash, it's just like 3 or 4 things: token ID, contract number, whatever, in the right format, which he details there. And then you pop that in your avatar record and update. It costs a little bit of gas to do that. And then just wait patiently for a little while. Sometimes it takes longer than others to distribute out to OpenSea and everywhere else. And then likewise, there's a simpler, more straightforward way to do it with Rainbow and with there's some more like GUI, user interface type of stuff like that, which I haven't really used. So you could try the rainbow.me, I think it is, the Rainbow stuff. People are saying that it's just, as easy as ever as it should be, right? Just like upload image kind of thing to correct the update your avatar record in your ENS using Rainbow. So Rainbow is probably the easiest, most plug and play one that I know of if you have like a Rainbow wallet dialed somewhere. Otherwise, that tutorial from Brantley is really good. And then there's a video or two from Clown Crypto on YouTube, I believe from Clown Crypto. So you could probably find any and all of those. But get in my DMs, ACV, if you're having trouble finding it, and maybe we could pin that to the 24-hour club with a post, Sajil, just saying, this is how you update your avatar minutes, and this is the resource to do that. That should be like a go-to thing. Everyone in the club, part of the club, should be people doing that for the first time, not only with their minute but with their other stuff. So cool. AC, does that answer your question? Like, if you just Google search Brantley Medium ENS avatar record, does it come
Yeah,
up?
yeah. Hang on, let me see. Brantley avatar.
Homie can type. Don't pretend. That is pretend typing. I know you're just keyboard mouseing.
Shit. No, this keyboard is just stupid loud, man. All right, yeah, I found it right here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in here today, man, and do this. I've got the majority of my stuff this on my ledger, so I just got to make sure I can do it on ENS from my ledger. And I've got all day off today, man. I'm fixing to go update. I've got like zip codes and all kind of stuff I'm gonna put avatars on. So that's good stuff. That gives me something to do today while I listen.
Right on. Yeah, no, that's great, ACV. I love that. I need to update avatars on some of my minutes too. I've got a few, and I'd when I give them away, I update the avatar that at that time is what I've been doing. So I gave Gary Palmer Jr. 316, which is kind of a grail, because I like Gary and I wanted to show him some goodwill and invite him to the club. And so I think that's cool. I updated it with like the Corpus Christi Salvador Dali, the Corpus Hypercubus, which is one of the most like conceptually interesting pieces of art, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I think it's a really interesting one. So yeah,
That's good stuff, man. I need to change my avatar back to ACV, don't I? That's how I'll have anything on here, and everybody will be like ACV. I just need to go back to ACV. That's how everyone knows me, I think.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, you got to choose sometimes. Like, do you keep your name in the field and change your avatar, or do you keep your avatar the same and change your name? With ENS, we have so many different names and identities. It's like an experiment, trying out different things, seeing how it goes, what fits you well, what you like, and what you could sell, how people respond to it. It's all a part of it. So I think it's a good process to help you understand the value so that you can go out and market it. And like some people get up on the Shark Tank and they're like, I got a domain, OX underscore Johnny Appleseed, like in this market, I want like 10 Ethereum for it. And that kind of thing happens all the time, and you're just like, man, I mean, people are just got some wild expectations. Even me, I'm
Then they
asking
get mad. Then they'll get mad whenever you get like a real valuation from somebody. Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I actually
sometimes.
enjoyed that, man. I was sitting there yesterday. That was some good stuff.
Do you ever like have you had people I haven't really had people get too like angry about it, but there are times when I've had kind of to say to somebody like I honestly, I hate to say it, they're like, what do you think the value of this? I'll be like, yeah, I less than the registration cost. If it costs zero point zero 0.01 to register it, I'd say it's worth 0.005. Like that's
Yeah, no, I feel you on that.
you got to be real about that, because the reason why is because there's other stuff you could register. Then even 0.005 is like nothing. It's not worth anything, because man, there's so much treasure that's still available to register. So and that's my opinion, is like sometimes people they get attached. They maybe have a small number of domains. Maybe they have like 10 or 20 or 50. And since they've got a small number, like all of them seem like kind of good to them. But like as you registered more and more, you kind of start to realize like, okay, this is a lot about a learning experience, and a lot of this is just, like part of that. So for me, I have over like 600 domains, probably like a few hundred of them, if not more than half of them, are just probably not going to sell. They're probably not um, commercially viable, and they might not even be like something I want to build on. And I'll probably give them away as gifts and stuff. Um, so that's just important, I think, ACV, to kind of keep that perspective too, that like it really is like that. It's like if you think like every domain that you buy or register is going to be, the grail and the treasure, then you'll probably never sell a single one, because you'll have every one listed for like 100 ETH. So I think we just have to be more realistic with our expectations. And yeah, so that's kind of my vibe on it, is like, I'm trying to bring my prices down and really differentiate between the things that I have that are like I'm not gonna sell, and like for cheap,
Yeah,
you know. What do you
I see
got?
a lot of
What are you
I
gonna
see a
keep?
lot that put like long term values and short term expectations, and they kind of clash. Like if you, I see some that may be like 5, 7 ETH, but yeah, they'll probably get that long term. But it's just, which I'm here for long term. You know what I mean? I'm good with setting, which I've got. I guess you could say all form, short term, near term, whatnot. But yeah, I'm here for like 5 years minimum. Which I'm here forever, but I don't have any plans to sell any of mine for like 3 to 5 years once the market starts to mature. I think it's going to come fast too, man. Crazy how in the short time I've been here, since like January, how this whole thing's rocketed. You know it?
Yeah, I was quite rapidly, really. Yeah, in that time span, it was a really quick growth. You're you're kind of like doing the right things probably by that time. Like you've seen markets change, you've seen some big sales and stuff, and you've got your domain, collection that you're managing, and you're probably saying like, okay, increasingly these ones are my keepers, these ones are probably, I'll let these go. And I imagine that you're registering out some of that for longer, because you're persuaded now that these are some good decisions, these are some bad ones. I mean, is that your feeling as it you're kind of managing your portfolio as opposed to just in pure acquisition mode?
Yeah, yeah, no, man. The longer I'm in here and seeing the market work, I actually, like, I extended nicotine out like 10 years the other day. There's some that I'll extend out for a good time, a long time. Yeah, and there's some, man. Listen, Novak, you want to hear some funny stuff, man? So I can't believe none of y'all told me. So listen to this. I bought leopard.eth probably like 6 months ago, but I
Yeah.
spelled it wrong, man. I spelled it Leapord. I was rocking it in my handle for like 3 months, man. I was like, dude, I seen that the other day. I was like, how could y'all not tell me, man? No one even told me, which I don't know. It sounded right, you know what I mean? But it was Leo. So like, I typed it in the other day, and it was like leopard spelled Leo, and I was like, no, Google's wrong. I was like, this can't be right, man. I was low key like straight up depressed for like 2 days over that.
Well, wait, hold on. Like, hang on, because like now I feel like I'm spelling it wrong. If I'm looking at, it's Leopard, right? Leopard. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, but I had it spelled Leapord. Well, I was bouncing
man,
around Twitter and didn't nobody say nothing, man. I was like, no.
I
Maybe no one
had
else knew.
I had Juanita and Juana, both of them. I still have Juana, but spelled incorrectly with the U, with the A before the U, Jauna instead of Juana. Just a little dyslexic. And I was like convinced that I bought Juanita for .07 or something. I was like, this is actually a pretty like common name, even though it's a little bit like a dated name. But I was like, that's a real first name. So it was way below the floor on first names. I was like, that's great. Scooped it up, had it, rocked it for a while, made some subdomains off of Wana, like Mari.wana, and just like silly stuff like that. Um, and sure enough, somebody like brought it to my attention that it was spelled incorrectly, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And the funny thing was that I had registered Wana based on my incorrectly purchased and misspelled Juanita. It's such a funny thing, bro. And then Juanita actually ended up selling. I listed it for what I bought it for, because I was like, "Damn, like it's definitely." I get it now. It's definitely way price below, because it's just like a misspelling, and maybe somebody wants this for some reason, but I don't. So I just listed it for what I bought it for and just assumed nobody would ever buy it. But sure enough, somebody snagged it up. I don't know if they knew it was misspelled or not. Hopefully they did know. But it's funny though because realistic, like Wauna or whatever, Jauna, the Wana misspelled is actually the name of a song. It's actually the name of like a band or something, you know. So it's possible that in my misspelling and my accident, I may have stumbled on a little bit of treasure. I'm not sure. And that's another part of this that's just silly. Like your accidents can potentially be fortuitous as well.
That's what's wild, man. Yeah, because you could have something you spelled wrong, and it could mean something in a whole another language. You know, that's the wild part of this whole thing. The
Somebody
difference,
had
in my opinion, from
surfer without the E, like Surfr, and that's apparently the name of like a brand. Like they were trying to give it to me for a floor maxi, and it's apparently the name of like some big surf brands and stuff. I was like, oh my god! And then they sold it on the Shark Tank yesterday for 0.45 with a package deal, I think. But exactly that kind of thing where I didn't realize the value of it. It was sitting there being offered to me for nothing. And instead of that, I kind of watched it go for half an ETH, and it makes sense to me, a lot more sense to me. So context is a lot important. That's why it's nice to have a place where you can market your domains. That's why it's nice to have a place like the ENS Shark Tank where you can talk about, like you can't really just sit around and talk about your registrations there, but where you can pitch them, to a group of sharks who are, I guess, willing to tell you, what they think it's worth and what they'll offer for it.
Yeah,
So
that's good to hear for sure, hearing others' opinions, because I'm sure to us all, we've all got grills. You know what I mean? Which I try to be a little bit more. I mean, you know what's crazy with that surfer is, dude, this crazy you even say that, because yeah, I heard him last night pitching that. So I minted like coconutrum.eth. I'm surprised that wasn't even registered. But I minted it 2 days ago, and that sent me on like a beach theme. So I was like all day at the office yesterday, searching like beach businesses that I could see like interacting in crypto. So yeah, there was a bunch of stuff that was like surf shop, surf Sara, like just a whole list of beach businesses. And I live down in the southeast by the Gulf, and yeah, I don't know that there's that name here, but there's a lot that are themed like that are big like franchises of like beachwear companies and whatnot.
yeah, man, yeah. And that's the thing, like that's a whole genre, I mean, the surfer, I got some great surfers. I had single surfer emoji, I still got it, but it's like normalizing incorrectly now. So
Oh
sad,
no.
dude. Yeah, there's like two of us who have a single surfer in two like different formulations that both render, but one of them normalizes correctly and the other one doesn't, and then it's been oscillating between the two for the last couple of months. And so I think I got the broken one. Basically, I it was a game of musical chairs and I lost, but I didn't spend much into it. I registered for like 0.03. It was kind of gifted to me, so it's all good, with the knowledge that it was a gamble. Um, but that's kind of the thing, is like I really wanted a single emojis because for a long time, since the floor was quite lower, I was like, these are cool. I see the value. I want one. Um, and I just wasn't able to kind of, make it work for one that I want and everything. I'm gonna keep my eyes open, but I have some two emoji combos that are just fire, and I really think that with the metaverse stuff, what we're talking about, building a metaverse clock, going into on cyber and Decentraland, and having an emoji handle. I'm not sure actually if you can do that in Decentraland with the DCL subs, but I was just starting to wrap my head around the fact that when you go into Decentraland, you're like a random number unless you buy a DCL name. So they did a really clever thing. Like I didn't really understand just how interesting it is with the vanity names in Decentraland. It's basically like they kind of strip you of your own name, even, which I don't really like that. Personally, I don't like that at all. But I mean, it's clever for monetization, I guess. But I don't like that DCL made their whole name registrar system and separated it from everyone else. So that's another thing about this. I think it's important to realize with our clubs and our vision for some of this. It's in some cases it's like, bro, I just want to be n0vax. Like that's my identity. I'm not trying to be like, oh, spam sandwich 92.dcl. Nah, not at all. And I'm not trying to have somebody else register n0vax. Like I don't even care if somebody else does that. Go for it. I don't want it. That's how I feel with when it comes to Decentraland's naming thing. It's like they should gate it, and that's my vision for the subdomains that I've been expressing for a long time. Is that they should be gated. People who want to do it intelligently should say your your subdomain is waiting for you. Quad roller coaster. Nobody else can come and poach Quad Roller Coaster because they don't own it. That's why you just put a little,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
right? You should not have to go and buy your own name off as a subdomain directory because somebody else went and registered it. No, defeats the whole purpose of having your self-sovereign identity. That is not how this should be done. The way that it should go is you go to Decentraland, you hook up your wallet, it goes, this is your reverse lookup, n0vax. And so we've been saving this registered already. Nobody can register a subdomain that's owned, where that top level domain is owned by someone else. And when you do go to register a domain, the only domains that you can register are ones for which you own the top level domain, and then they would be soul bound together. So that if you register metaclock.eth and then you want to get your Decentraland name, metaclock.dcl.eth, well, if you sell metaclock.eth, metaclock.dcl.eth needs to go with it. It needs to go with it as a soul bound sub. And that's what I've been saying about the club, about the 24-hour club. We need to make it so that metaclock.eth is correlated to, the subs off of metaclock 00, the very first one, 00h00, 0 hour. So start with 0 hour, 00h00.eth. That's our minute club, the club minute. And it would be translated to a soul bound domain bound sub. A domain bound sub would be bound to 00h00.metaclock.eth. So that's the vision for it. It's like a form of hybrid centralization. It only works if you can technically achieve the soul binding, like the soul bound token aspect of domains. A subdomain bound to a totally unrelated top level domain. You got to wrap them in a contract together or something. I don't know how the subdomain wrapper will apply directly to this idea. I have spoken with Prim. I've literally been on calls with the people building that subdomain wrapper. I have kind of not the clearest understanding yet of it, and I'm not technically capable to actually have a full and complete vision of it in any way. But from what I do understand, it should be possible for us to do this with some ease in the very near future. So that's part of this too, is that we've been in a bit of a holding pattern because the subdomain wrapper is integral to everything that we're doing. So we're kind of like, all right, what can we do? What can we do in the meantime? Like, can we build? We can. We should. We're looking for Rico to get some work done on the clock. And this is another thing about software development. I'm just going to say this too, so this gets indexed as well for all of our benefit and knowledge. A lot of us are not haven't project managed a software development project before. A lot of us are new to Web3 and this kind of thing in general. And I just want to make it abundantly clear. Everyone has good intentions usually, but some people don't. So you need to kind of take that into consideration too. Like, most people are really well intended, but other people are kind of like looking to get a little arm up, get a leg up in some way. So we don't give money to people unless they deliver. You know what I mean? Like, it would be in all of our clubs, everything we do in Web3. This is not like here's a bunch of money, go and impress me kind of a game. Like, I hope you guys have seen that already for yourselves. So we're not going to be like getting a big grant from the DAO and sitting on, 20 ETH and then go, oh, look, that guy said he's a developer. We're going to give him 10 of the ETH. Hopefully he does something with it. Like, that will never happen. I just want to make that really clear to everyone who might be looking to come into this club and sort of sit in a chair, collect a pay check and just not deliver. Like, that will never happen here. And the reason is because, like, I don't think any of us are going to seek any kind of compensation or payment or DAO funding, and I don't think we'll get any of that until we have some forward progress, with the technical end, and that would mean we have a dev who's already built something. So that's the race right now. It's a race for a developer who has time and skills and energy to come in and pick up on the clock. I have the ensclock.com domain in my possession. I have the GitHub repository for that MVP as well, like control of that to fork that and share that. Thank you, Hexagon. Thank you to the team that over many months was just trying to get that situated. And the end result was they just kind of like sent it to me, which is, I'm not probably the person to be managing that. So, and now Rico has some access to those domains to work on them. But the hosting is still up on the Cloudflare for Hexagon's Cloudflare. So like basically we're in this transitional time where we need to take the ENS clock code base, put it, host it properly on our own Cloudflare, have somebody who is familiar, with that HTML and CSS and any of the backend stuff. I think it's all React based. So we just need a dev who's HTML, CSS, React, and then potentially some Unity. So we're going to need some Unity devs to give motion to our clock. So we've got a few people, High CC and others, who are already doing that kind of thing, who may be interested in doing it for us. So I'm going to go there, ACV. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to run into the end zone, and I'm going to say, "Give me a pass, guys. I'm open. I'm in the end zone. I'm at the end point. Let's have a touchdown." Because sitting here doing what I'm doing, I think it's not gonna produce as much results as that will.
I think though when I came in, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna hop down and let I see digital let him take over. But yeah, man, when I come in and you was talking about the protocol for like people just putting like wild stuff on the clock for monetization, I think that's smart. I think that's needed, honestly, because yeah, you got to think in the future. Say you got some big companies wanting to advertise on here, and then like the 23 hour and 60 or 420 or something puts just something like freaking vulgar. Yeah, I can see how that could negatively impact the project for sure. So yeah, I think that's brilliant in terms of that.
It's a really fine line because we are here building a metaverse clock in a decentralized way. That's the whole vision, and the patience, and the 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 beauty of that is the process, and it's like a really cool thing. It has to stay decentralized. It has to. But what happens if you compromise that? If you compromise the core vision of decentralization, you say, we're making a centralized clock now. It's actually the Coca-Cola clock. We don't want that. That's the thing. So it's a hybrid model where we are trying to innovate something new, where we're developing like a product that is owned in a decentralized way, but it's also moderated in a decentralized way. It has to be kind of self-correcting, and so that requires a little bit of thoughtfulness, a lot actually. So it's
Go
taken
get
some
a
time for
job.
push
Go
it.
get a job. You talking at my mom's basement, looking like
What up, Leap? What up,
Donald
Leap? How you
Trump.
been doing, man?
Talking like you
Yeah, you
Donald
want to jump
Trump.
in the
You got
basement?
you got Trump vibes here.
Get
Uh,
jump in the basement with us, bro. What's your ape all about, man? You got a legit
yep.
base up there?
I hacked one ape a long time ago from a fake wallet minting some sort of that. One stupid bored ape guy did it.
Oh dang! You literally like sniped this off of somebody. It's authentic though.
Yep. I
You're
just
crazy.
sent him a link like with an email saying you gotta like do a verification for your board ape is shit. I think he was a sort of a Philippine guy. He doesn't know how to much
What the
English.
hell? You're literally a proud scammer. You're out here
Nah,
scamming people,
nah,
bro.
nah. It's a hack. It's not sort of a fake ass call center thing. You know how? So
Oh my
what this
god,
ENS
you're
club is
crazy.
about?
All right, bro. Hang on. Listen. Hang out with us, all right? Hang out with us. Learn what we're up to, but bro, please do not send people phishing links and shit.
No,
Please
no,
stop
no.
doing that.
I'm just took a break right now. I don't do now because the market is so down. I don't have much going on right now. Just collecting some NFTs of blue chip NFTs. So, yeah, what was this project you got? You got a project or just an ENS chat going on?
Oh, it's kind of, I guess you could say it's both, it could be one or the other. What we have right now, go to ensclock.com. You'll see there's 1,440 minutes in the day. We minted them all as the syntax zeros, number, two-digit number for the hour, and then an H, and then two-digit number for the minutes.
And I've got to say one thing about ENS that I did was I put like a fake sorry like what do you call it invisible character in front of the ENS and so like $200,000 worth of like ENS with one invisible character in front of let's say ABC. I just
God
put one.
damn it! That's you doing this shit too. Get the fuck out! I'm dropping you from the stage. Literally, I'm no more of this. You were exiled,
All
bro.
right, it's enough. All right, I'll just listen to your
You freaking
speech you were giving.
you freaking hater, bro.
Hey
God
man,
damn it!
I just
Met the guy. I know this is the guy who's been doing all of them, all of the invalid registrations and the scam links. How did you find your way here, Leap? At least we got him. Call the police. Everyone, surround Leap. Surround him. Bring it, Drake. Bring
Yeah,
him to the ground.
hey Novak.
I'm in Washington. I'm in sort of a basement in Washington.
Yeah, we'll never find you. I'm sure you're on a VPN. What up? What up, guys? What up?
Yeah, I just want to say it's been amazing. I've got to dash out of the room, but yeah, I was going to tune in later. This has been great. Keep it
Right
up.
on, dude. I'm sorry for the late start today again. For everyone, I said it early at the beginning. I was got a little bit tardy kickoff today, so I apologize. Mom's basement is the alarm's not working so good in here. So Leap, man, it's hilarious.
Now
Uh,
you think? Well, for one thing, I'm not from India. I'm not. I don't have that kind of accent. You better think I'm from India, but I'm a little bit near that kind of Asian side, but not from India. I don't do Microsoft tech support, that kind of fake shit. That's not what I do. You see that kind of shit from that place. Yeah, no, not like that. Just for
Right on, Leap. Thank you very much, man. I've removed you to listener. In our spaces, we immediately remove all proud scammers from the stage after we've verified that you're not joking. That is like ridiculous, bro. You have got to be trolling us. I know that you're trolling us. Please be trolling us. Um. So anyway, bro, it's all love. It's good times. Thank you, Digital. You're awesome. I got to host a space right now, friends. So I want to invite you all to that. And I want this to be more fun. I have not been having enough. I'm just tell you guys straight up. I've not been having enough fun. And I think that's probably if I've not been having enough fun, that means you guys probably maybe not been having enough fun either. So I just want to reset. I just want to say I want to have fun. I got a 3-month-old baby. He's wonderful. I could be spending this time in the mornings with him. You got to ask yourself. My dad is 80 years old. He's freaking dying. He's here with me for the last minutes of his life. What the fuck am I doing over here? You know what I mean? What are we doing? Are we achieving anything? Did we, is it useful to anyone? Or would it be better to spend your time with your loved ones, to be with my infant child and my father who's, on his way out? Like for me, fuck all this. Fuck all this noise. This is noise, if it's not fun. So that's where I'm at. I want to have fun. And that's all that matters to me anymore,
and I hope your baby is gay for real. Why you kick me out for no reason? I hope that your
God
baby is
damn
gay for real.
it. Jason Hill, aka Leap,
I'm gonna come to
coming back.
Capitol Hill in January 6th and gonna kick that fucking Biden out of this.
Oh my God. I've never seen a more persistent troll in the
Yo,
space.
is that the same dude?
It's the same dude. And I gotta say, like, I never respected anyone trolling more. Like, then he came back and wished that my baby I'm just gonna move on because like it's just so funny to me. Like we've been for months we've been doing this. We've not really had that. We've had one or two trolls, but nothing quite as entertaining. Thank you for that entertainment right in the midst of me saying that this doesn't matter unless we're having fun. You bring the fun into it. So that's actually kind of cool and welcome in a way, as long as it's not too like crass and offensive. So we're gonna watch that. Thank you. What up, Zooty Duty? How you doing?
Quack quack. And speaking of fun, I just gotta say that this room only has room for one mallard here. Only one quack is allowed to do quackery around here, and that is Zooty. I hope everybody's having a good morning, a good afternoon, or a good evening, wherever you're from.
Thank you, Zooty. Yeah, man, I'm about to start a space with Art Bandit right now, and so please jump on that with me if you like. I can't wait to get to know him better. We're gonna swap B cards. It is B talks. We're doing them all the time. And that's fun, getting to know people, swapping B cards. I have fun doing that. I enjoy doing that. You guys will probably enjoy it too. So let's just get to know each other better. And maybe in the process of doing that, we'll meet and develop stronger relationships with the developers and the 3D modelers and the enthusiasts for the UTC clock, the metaverse clock, the 24-hour club, the ENS timekeepers, whatever we're calling ourselves. We have a mission. We've been talking about it. It's been talked about and then disappeared, and that's making me disappointed. So now we're going to talk about it, index the content, and ensure that we're building from the both ends of the candle, from the 2D widget to the 3D metaverse version of the clock. So that's where I'm at with it. I wish you all a wonderful week, and we will do this weekly from my page for as long as I believe it to be a good use of my time and something fun, since it's without compensation and does involve not being with my loved ones and being with my metaverse friends instead. I want to have fun, so have some fun with me, guys, and we'll see you shortly. Next week it'll be again 10 a.m. We're not doing these early 9:30s, 9 a.m.s. No, that's specific time for me. That's breakfast time. That's time with my babies, all right? Not going to happen anymore. 10 a.m. is the earliest I'm doing it, and it's going to be fun. So we'll see you guys next week. Much love.
See ya, homie.
Quack, quack.